attempted suicide is a major symptom in mental illness, makes it so almost mandatory that it should not be treated as a crime. It should actually be treated as a sign of illness, and the person should actually be assisted, and help should be made available to them instead of dragging them to court. With that, Madam Speaker, I support the bill.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Samuel Parashina, member for Kajiado South.
Madam Speaker, okay. Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. I also stand to support the Penal Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 53 of 2024, that has been sponsored by Honorable Anthony Oluoch, MP. Madam Speaker, the purpose of the bill is just to reappeal the attempted suicide under the Penal Code. Madam Speaker, as other members have argued or contributed, the attempted suicide should not be treated as a criminal activity that is supposed to be taken to a criminal justice system, but should be taken to a mental health care. And it's because once a person attempts suicide, we need to check on the cause. And basically, the cause of attempted suicide is distress, challenges that people go through in life. Sometimes we find a person, we are not able maybe to appreciate the challenges that we go through in life, perhaps by going to maybe asking for guidance and counseling. Sometimes you find someone goes through a lot of challenges, maybe even in just because of the job, the person lost a job, challenges of maybe even basic things in life, and even challenges in terms of families. And by the time you are getting a person attempting to do suicide, it is always probability of being the last resort is very high, Madam Speaker. And this parliament will be able to save the country a problem that is currently going on. If you go on data, since there have been, since the attempting suicide has been treated as a crime, we ask ourselves, how many lives have we been able to save? The answer is no. So, Madam Speaker, in other jurisdiction or other in the jurisdiction internationally, in Wales, England, they have also challenged and reappealed the penal code. This is what we inherited in the colonial time, whereby you just find out that things that are not supposed to be happening, in fact, in the continent of Africa, is what is happening today. We want to ask ourselves, what can government do once we reappeal the penal code today, or the House approve the bill, as I stand to support? Is the creation of medical health centers, mental health centers should be more in this country. In fact, it should be in every county or even every constituency. Because even abuse of drugs, abuse of even alcohol and those kind of things can cause a person to decide to attempt to do suicide. But if at all we have a mental health system that is able to take these challenges of the psychological problems that people go through in life, then we are able to save many Kenyans, and not only to see as justice being the only way to sort it out. Madam Speaker, under Article 28 of the Constitution that guarantees and prevents human dignity. And human dignity, I mean the value of life, the right of life. It is totally, if you check on that article, it's basically showing that everyone has a right on how to carry his or his own life, but it's upon the government to be able to give a free and fair place that and even promote and try to help these people. I was trying to see why we're not doing public rallies or public campaigns the way people do on polio, malaria issues, vaccination issues. We also put the issue of challenges of human being to be part of a campaign. People to start now feeling, how can we be able to come out and speak? And Madam Speaker, in this country, recently we just got a big challenge in this country, the loss of life that we lost in Utumishi girls. And when I was looking at what might be the cause or what was the problem, you'll find out even the kids, by the time the students are trying to move to ban even dormitories, when they know their colleagues are inside. It's all about the challenges that people go through. So even if you want to criminalize those, even if we criminalize everyone and criminalize maybe, because that was a bad thing to which has happened. But the school have learned today that one student said that there will be a challenge. These things we will going to do these things, maybe because they fear the exam, maybe they're going, maybe peer pressure. But I was looking at, if we had a program that even our students go through in schools of counseling, guiding and counseling, a subject on it on itself, it was going to help a lot of people, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is a bill that I urge this House, let us all of us support. It is something that will help us. It is something that will remove, it will now try, even you see what is happening. I can tell you, Madam Speaker, currently, people cannot afford everything in life. We are not created equally. And we cannot say because I am able to sort out my issues in this line, then the other person will also be forced to do the same. We are not born, our cultures are different. Our beliefs are different. The way we handle challenges in life is also different, Madam Speaker. And I stand to support this bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Ndikiri Mugambi, member for Buri.
I thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. I have some very interesting statistics on the study that was done between 2025 and this year. Madam Speaker, the suicide cases among men the cases reported on suicide, 70 to 80% was men. The age group during the same period, 15 to 29 years old. In terms of regions, the following counties were quoted as having high cases of suicide: Kiambu County, Nyeri, Murang'a, Kirinyaga, Nyandarua, and Meru. Madam Speaker, these are very interesting statistics in light of what we are discussing today. The element of criminality among the suicide. This is a very interesting statistic because, Madam, it is telling us something. What is this that is very common that is causing people to commit suicide? That 70 to 80% are men. That the age blanket is our young people, 15 to 29. How is it coming out in a region that we all know they have the largest number of suicide cases? Madam Speaker, it comes out in so many ways. One, there is a lot of stress in life. We have been told that there are a lot of cases of drug addictions in some of these regions. There's a lot of stress associated with alcoholism. There is a lot of suicidal cases associated with the normal pleasure of life. Madam Speaker, the cases of illegality, they are very minimal these days. Because there are some people who are saying, your family commits suicide. But no, it is not coming out statistically as it used to be before. But if you look at the mental cases associated with stress, Madam Speaker, it's quite an worrying situation. Madam Speaker, there are cases where people have become terminally ill and they want to take their life. That's another cause. Madam Speaker, there is what is called forced suicide. You know, you can push someone until you are told to commit suicide. And lastly, Madam Speaker, there is something called religious suicide. The Al-Shabaab, they go and commit suicide. Now, Madam Speaker, this is a very important bill because really we cannot criminalize some of these people who have committed suicide because of stress. Mental illnesses appear because life is so difficult. We can also go ahead and see that not very poor people who commit suicide, interestingly, the people who commit suicide are from very rich families. And some of these people will throw themselves from the houses upstairs.
The Honorable Rindikiri.
Madam Speaker.
Would the one for Kilifi County, where people decided not to eat until they died?
Yes.
Would it also be part of religious suicide?
It's part of the religious suicide. Because the Shakaholas and also the Al-Shabaabs, you also talk about, it's also cases of suicide. So, Madam Speaker, it is not right to criminalize these people. We must, as a country, start investing quite a lot on research and continuously engage, particularly young people, aged 15 to 29, to know exactly what is this that is eating them. And then we go to some of these regions where suicide is quite high. That will give us some case studies. But also, we cannot criminalize these people. Let's give them counseling. Let's provide health rehabilitation centers. Let's understand their kind of situation. Let's try and talk about this issue of suicide publicly without hiding. Madam Speaker, it's very unfortunate that we educate our children. At the university, they commit suicide. It leaves it straight to the parent. So it is a very emotive thing. We would like to give these people a second option of life. And that's why I agree with the mover of this bill, that these people deserve a second life. As a state, as a nation, there's something that we can do. And I can assure you, if we continue talking about it, public awareness, rehabilitation, we will come up with a solution. We cannot condemn our people to gallows of death, knowing what they have gone through. It's not their cause. Madam Speaker, we are not the only country that is trying to bring registration. We are part of the global network. Other countries are doing the same, and I would like to say Kenya is not in isolation. Let's address this issue from local, national, and at the international. Madam Speaker, I support this amendment, and I tell my very good friend, Orioch, thank you very much. I don't know why. These days you are coming up with some very interesting amendment. Do you have a lot of cases of suicide in Madhali? I can't set it in statistically. I don't know the reason why. But I think, thank you very much, because you are patriotic Kenyan. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Mary Emase, Member for Teso South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. From the onset, I also want to support the proposed amendment, called Amendment Bill 53 of 2024. Honorable Speaker, when people commit suicide, they commit suicide for reasons. Sometimes one feels they have gotten to the end of it. I hear some of them say, I'm tired, meaning there is a lot of hopelessness. They feel trapped. They feel like there's no way out. And that happens, Madam Speaker, because of certain causes this person has been going through. So when we criminalize attempted suicide, actually we are punishing a sick person. This person should be given support. There should be someone coming to say it is okay, it will be well. They need psychological support. They need counseling. They need to see a doctor. Honorable Speaker, this is a very good bill. We should decriminalize attempted suicide. Article 43 of our Constitution talks about the right to life. And to commit suicide is not easy because it's painful. So when you find an individual has gotten to a level where they are committing suicide, then it means they are going through stress. It could be a loss of a loved one. It could be a debt. It could be pressure at work, pressure at home. They are going through a situation that calls for psychological support, love, but not to criminalize. Because in an event that they are not succeeding, that they are not successful in committing the suicide, that individual needs support. So, Honorable Speaker, there are countries that have decriminalized attempted suicide, like Singapore and many other countries. So, I think this is the right thing to do because we need to support individuals that are going through these situations by giving them the necessary support that they need as opposed to criminalizing. And imagine somebody has just survived a suicide and then is being taken to court and being charged that it was a crime, and we forget about what the causes. So what should be done is to focus and address the causes that push someone to even start thinking about committing suicide. And by doing that, we shall be helping these individuals as a nation. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, the Honorable Beatrice Adagala, member for Vihiga County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to also talk about this issue, this amendment bill, number 80. On this amendment bill, Madam Speaker, Kenya at the moment is experiencing an alarming mental health and suicide crisis. This is driven by socioeconomic distress, unemployment, relationship issues, with crisis hitting mostly young people, the age of 15 to 29, that's, let's say, age of 35, which is very rampant in this society. Madam Speaker, something has to be done urgently. We don't need to criminalize this. It's not individuals liking. Life itself is forcing people to go to some extreme extents. We have drug and substance abuse. We have marital issues which are culminating from economic power, which is making our people cannot manage to live. So most of these people, they need to be taken to centers, and I think the Minister of Health should establish centers whereby most of our people should be taken there so that they can be given counseling, be talked to, and maybe from being talked to and other things like change of the economy, maybe people employment. If people can be talked to, I don't think we can have these rampant cases of suicide that is affecting our young generation from the age of 15 to 29. My colleague here talked about issues of what is happening in schools. Actually, some of these are attributed to drug and substance abuse. I'm sure if action can be taken, the Minister of Health, to ensure in our counties and even our sub-county hospitals, we have areas where people can go for counseling and even the churches take charge. People should go for counseling so that when somebody has an issue, you should not look at it, he or she should not look at it, that's the end of life. Life must continue despite the hard economic times that people are passing through, despite whatever is going on. I think it's a high time the Minister of Health should come in, and the religious leaders. Kenya is mostly religious. We have the Christians and the Muslims. We need to give our people information. We talk to our people so that most of our people are not colonized by drugs and alcohol, so that when somebody sees there's a problem somewhere, somebody will resort to maybe planning to, the devil may use his head to think of committing suicide. Madam Speaker, if this is taken seriously, major risks that include economic hardship, unemployment, drug and substance abuse, we will have no cases of people trying to commit suicide. If this is addressed, the church, I'm appealing to the church to strongly take charge, and the Minister of Health. We shall have a free society where nobody will want to commit suicide just because of an economic hardship or anything that is not even irrelevant. So I want to support the committee that the amendments that I'm making, I'm supporting them. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Dorothy Kiara.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I do support this amendment, and Madam Speaker, I'm saying it has come in handy when, Madam Speaker, we must think critically on this matter of decriminalizing suicide. Madam Speaker, suicidal people are sick people, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, before someone reaches the stage of suicide, we normally start with the small things that we think don't matter. In psychology, we start with stress. When you become stressed, sometimes you are not in your normal self. Then from stress, you graduate to anxiety. When you start becoming anxious over things, you are not yourself. Then, Madam Speaker, we also go further and enter into depression. Depression is a stage in life where you just feel you are off, you just feel you don't know what to do with your life, and you feel deeply that you have been neglected, you have been betrayed, you have been left by people that you thought would be close to you. Madam Speaker, in all these circumstances, a suicidal person is not aware of what he or she is going through. Madam Speaker, the primary act of identifying a suicidal mind must start with the people who are close to you. The people who are very, very close to you must be the first people before you even see a doctor to notice and realize that this person, there is something that is not right. And Madam Speaker, in most cases, when people enter the final stage of depression, this is when they become hopeless. This is when they feel dejected. This is when they feel they don't have anybody holding on to them, and they just feel as the last resort, let them leave this world. Madam Speaker, it is difficult for us along the way to identify these people and take them to the hospital before they do the act. This is why I've said, Madam Speaker, the primary person who should identify a suicidal mind are people who are close to you, your peers, your teachers, your parents, your brothers and sisters. Honorable Speaker, it is interesting because the World Suicidal Day is globally celebrated, Honorable Speaker. It is recognized and celebrated across the world on 10th of September each year. Apparently, this happens to be my birthday, 10th of September, as much as I've never had a suicidal mind. Madam Speaker, it is good that as we think of what steps the government should take, it is first of all to acknowledge that, Madam Speaker, suicidal people should be identified by others. Then number two, Madam Speaker, we should ensure that we treat them with a lot of passion. They need to be loved. They need to feel that the world has not come to an end. May the feeling that they don't have jobs, they don't have money, they have been rejected by the people they loved most. And in most cases, Honorable Madam Speaker, the young people, like in our midst, our young children will always think of suicide as the last resort when they feel their lovers have left them. Honorable Madam Speaker, it is up to us as we go through our daily life, even in our institutions of learning, even in our schools, even at the university level. Let us have a moment of counseling our students by ensuring that they go through counselors to tell them being rejected by a loved one should not be the final thing in their life. There are always men and women who are ready to pick them up and love them again. Because, Honorable Speaker, we have seen very young girls, very young men in our society even deciding to kill their young lovers simply because a girl has said no to their advances. Honorable Madam Speaker, it is up to the schools, to our learning institutions, to have guidance and counseling tutors in every stage of the child's growth, so that these children can be taught how to go through life, how to persevere, because this life is about perseverance, Honorable Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is not easy even for us as politicians. Sometimes the expectations in life, even among politicians, is too high. Let us not look at suicide as it is only for the young people, even older people. As we go through even this political career, it is extremely very difficult, Honorable Madam Speaker. Sometimes you are very certain that you use all your resources in the belief that you are going to secure your possession. You use up to the last penny. Honorable Speaker, even as politicians, we need counselors so that we are prepared to know that even in the event that things don't turn our way, suicide should be the last thing that we should think of committing. So, Honorable Madam Speaker, let this matter be treated like people who are suicidal are not criminals. It should not be criminalized. There are people who are not in their right state of mind. And Honorable Speaker, I comment that this committee and I support this bill and say, Honorable Madam Speaker, if there is any bill that is progressive, it is this bill where we treat suicidal people like normal people in the society who need our help. Honorable Madam Speaker.
Honorable Emase, anything out of order?
I want to raise a point of order. According to our standing orders, Honorable Speaker, and going by the mood of the House, since we are all agreeing with the bill, I would like to call
you are not on the mic. You are not on the mic. You are not on the mic.
Please be on record.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying, going by the mood of the House and with our standing orders, we seem to be agreeing with the bill. I want I would want to request that you call the mover to reply.
It might be the mood of the House,
Yes.
but however, you just spoke to this bill, so you are not qualified. You are not qualified to do so. You require someone who has not spoken to the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Actually, you spoke very well.
Thank
So
you.
now you do not qualify. I give a minute to the Honorable Kiara to conclude.
Thank you, Madam
1 minute,
Speaker.
please.
Madam Speaker, I was almost concluding, but now I think I'll start afresh again. Madam Speaker, I want to say...
Honorable Kiara, you have just about a minute.
Yes, Honorable Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to say we have students today in the House when we are discussing this very important bill, and I want to call upon our learners. Nothing in life is simple. Everything that we go through in this life, we have to persevere. And I want to encourage them, even if you don't produce the best results, to take back home to your parents. Even if you have the last grade, take it back to your parents with a lot of pride if you have put your best foot forward. Because, Honorable Madam Speaker, we even push our students to give us results. We push them to become number one. Sometimes they are not capable of delivering that. And we push them until they contemplate suicide. Honorable Madam Speaker, I want to encourage them and tell them, we seated in this house today, personally, I have never been number one in class. I have never given grade A. But God has a space for each one of us. Please, go do your best in school, get the marks that you get, but what is more important is have a positive attitude towards life, and everything shall be well. Honorable Speaker, I support this bill and thank the committee and say, let us have this bill. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Mary Wamaua, member for Maragua.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I'm going to to take the shortest time possible. I thought I would have time to move my motion, but allow me to take this chance to congratulate the Member of Parliament, Honorable Anthony Oruoch.
Order, Honorable Emase. Before we continue, Honorable Members, I know that we have guests who have been seated in the public gallery, and I would like to recognize them. This morning, seated in the public gallery, we have students from Chumfi Comprehensive School, from Laikipia North Constituency, Laikipia County. 2, we have students from St. Joseph Girls, Chepterit, from Chesumei Constituency, Nandi County. We have students also from AIC Chemoiben Church, from Bureti Constituency, Kericho County. And we have students from Machakos Technical Institute, from Machakos Town Constituency, Machakos County. You are welcome to the National Assembly to continue observing proceedings of the House. Which one? Say, once again. Honorable members, for the purpose of record, the third group is AIC Chemoiben Church from Bureti Constituency, Kericho County. And I see the Honorable Member really very keen to welcome students. Please give him the mic. He's on his feet. Please proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Lenemegit.
You know, Honorable Speaker, thank you for this opportunity to just welcome and recognize the students present here today, and particularly from the St. Joseph's Jepterit Girls, who are my neighbors, who come from Chesumei constituency. We are just neighbors from Mgwen constituency. And I want to tell the students who are present here today, this is an opportunity for you to learn. I know it's been a learning process, and also to see how members of parliament debate and to get the first-hand information. This is an honorable house, and it belongs to all of you. We were once students like you, we worked hard, and that's why we're here. So I want to urge you to really work very hard, work smart, and you will excel in life. And most of you here might also be leaders like us and become members of parliament and even become the president. God bless you, and safe travel as you go back to your various schools. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Lenemegit. Now I'd like to take back to the Honorable Wamaua, member for Maragua, so that she can conclude her remarks.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was saying that I want to take the shortest time possible. I thought today I would move my motion, but allow me to appreciate and to commend the honorable member, Anthony Orwoch, for coming out with a very good area for amendment within the penal code. And Madam Speaker, it is true that when we talk of attempted suicide to be punishable, then we are somehow becoming very mean when we know there's no one who would attempt to commit suicide, not unless that person is sick. Madam Speaker, we are supposed to look for ways of how we can help that person, because we understand, and it has been enumerated by several members who have alluded there before, the issues that makes our people, either old, middle, or young, to get to a level of feeling like committing suicide. And Madam Speaker, what we are supposed to do instead of punishing the act is to come with ways of how we can protect that life, because there are those who commit suicide, they die, but for these who never dies are the ones who are within the category of attempting, because they did not die. And we can save a life by coming out with ways like guidance and counseling. These are people that we can also look for ways of how we can rehabilitate, because the issues that had brought the mental torture or the mental health, the illness, are still surrounding. So as a government, we can come with the issues that we can address and minimize all, fight this with the totality by making sure those who are attempting can be handled in a better way, and they add value to their life once again. Some are fathers, some are mothers, and others are youths, maybe who had out of drugs and substance abuse, who had come to a step that they feel it's like there's no one who loves them. That is a state of desperation. And if you are able to take care of such a life, then you can see there will be value within the family. I want to congratulate the honorable member, so that at least I can leave some time for the next speaker and maybe a possibility of the mover to respond. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Esther Passaris, member for Nairobi City County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I rise to support the Penal Code Amendment Bill 2024 because it reflects the kind of society we aspire to be. One that responds to pain and compassion, with compassion rather than punishment. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Anthony Orwoch has really worked tirelessly on this bill. And for me, the bill is Honorable Speaker, attempted suicide is not an act of criminality. It is often the final cry of a person who has lost hope, someone battling depression, trauma, addiction, financial distress, family conflict, or even overwhelming emotional pain. At that moment, they do not need handcuffs. They need help. They do not need a charge sheet. They need counseling, treatment, and a community willing to walk with them. For decades, Section 226 of the Penal Code has allowed us to prosecute those who have already reached one of the darkest moments of their lives. We have effectively told them that if they survive a suicide attempt, they may face imprisonment. That approach has never prevented suicide. Instead, it has deepened stigma and discouraged people from seeking help and left many families suffering in silence. Honorable Speaker, the Constitution guarantees every Kenyan the right to dignity, equality, and the highest attainable standards of health. Mental health is health. It deserves the same seriousness, investment, and compassion that we give physical illness. When someone suffers a heart attack, we rush them to hospital. When someone suffers mental health crisis, we should respond with the same urgency and care. The High Court has already affirmed that criminalizing attempted suicide is inconsistent with our Constitution. Today, Parliament has an opportunity to bring laws into harmony with those constitutional values. As legislators, we must also ask ourselves a deeper question: what kind of nation do we want to leave for future generations? One where people hide their struggles because they fear arrest, or one where they know they can ask for help without shame? The answer should be obvious. The bill is not about encouraging suicide, it is about preventing it. Decriminalizing opens the door for interventions, early diagnosis, counseling, and recovery. It encourages families, teachers, employers, faith leaders, health workers to engage without the burden of criminal sanctions. Honorable Speaker, we have witnessed rising cases of mental challenges among our young people, our security officers, healthcare workers, parents, and professionals. Economic hardship, unemployment, substance abuse, gender-based violence, and social isolation continue to take a heavy toll. We cannot continue responding to these realities with laws drafted in a different era. I also urge that once this bill is passed, the government must not stop at repealing an outdated provision. We must strengthen mental health services across the country, ensure that every county has accessible counseling services, integrate mental health into primary health care, support school-based counseling programs, and establish crisis hotlines to invest in public awareness to reduce stigma. Honorable Speaker, the scripture reminds us in Psalms 34:18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. If our Creator draws near to those who are brokenhearted, surely the laws should do the same. The law should reflect mercy, restoration, and hope, not condemnation. I also remember the words of our national anthem, which call upon us to dwell in unity, peace, and liberty. Liberty includes freedoms from unjust criminalization when one is battling illness. With those remarks, Honorable Speaker, I wholeheartedly support the Penal Code Amendment Bill 2024 and urge this House to pass it. Thank you.
Honorable Nyenze, member for Kitui West.
Thank you, Speaker. Based on Standing Order number 95, Madam Speaker, I seek that you call the mover to move the motion, to reply to the motion.
Honorable members, I would like to establish whether that is the mood of the House. Yes. So may I put the question that as many as are of that opinion say aye, as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. So the ayes have it. I'll shortly call upon the mover to reply, but before I do that, I would like to recognize students seated in the public gallery this afternoon. Students from Gashada Secondary School, from Geshogo constituency, Kirinyaga County, and students from Gashada Primary School, also from Geshogo constituency, Kirinyaga County. You are welcome to the National Assembly to continue observing proceedings of the House. And I would like to give a minute to the member, just 1 minute to the member for Geshogo to welcome the students from the two schools.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity to welcome the students from Gashada Secondary School as well as the Gashada Primary School. These are schools within my constituency. Both schools have been performing very well academically. Gashada Secondary School, Honorable Speaker, is the best day secondary school in Geshogo constituency and in Kirinyaga County. So, Honorable Speaker, the primary, Gashada Primary has also been performing very well academically and also has also been performing very well in extracurricular activities. Actually, they went up to regional level in their drama festival. So, Honorable Speaker, I would wish also to welcome all the teachers and parents who may have accompanied them. And these are schools that actually I sponsored their trip because of their good performance in both academic and extracurricular activity. I wish you well, and shortly as a member of parliament, I'll be talking to you and encouraging on many other matters. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for that opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Oloch.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to thank all the members who have contributed to this. They have participated in making a very interesting piece of legislation to humanize as opposed to criminalize people who are predisposed to suicide, people called suffering from depression, mental illnesses. And the Mental Health Act, like has been said by many members, now allows a safe place where these people can be treated as person in need of emergency healthcare as opposed to criminals. Last point is that this house is a lawmaking house, and this house respects decisions of the court as part of lawmaking. There is a decision of the court that has since declared Section 226 as unconstitutional. So this bill then seeks to align itself to that decision and allows us to follow the very long list of global trends, countries like the UK where we borrowed this from, countries like Guyana, Northern Ireland, Ghana, Malaysia, Pakistan, to try and make this colonial construct a thing of the past. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I seek to reply.
Thank you very much, Honorable Oloch. Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the Penal Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 53 of 2024, be now read a second time. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members,
a bill for an act of parliament to amend the penal code.
honorable members, and the time being 2 minutes past 1 o'clock p.m., this House stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, this afternoon, 1st of July, 2026 at 2:30 p.m.